Hello, everybody. Welcome back. MCMH Show Representative Malcolm here, and I'm continuing an ECW review. Guilty as Charged 99 event took place that January 10th, 1999, in Kissimmee, Florida. Start up the night with Paul Heyman saying that the car was going to be changed. Jerry Lynn was still injured with a cracked pelvis, and Masato Tanaka was not going to come from Japan to challenge Rob Van Dam for the television title. So Paul Heyman just tells the whole entire people who ordered the pay-per-view and all the fans that they are going to shuffle up the deck just a little bit and give them the best show possible. And they do. So anyway, without further ado, we start off with Joey Styles giving us a rundown a little bit of the show. Then we start off with our first match of the evening. Um, the FBI, Tracy Smothers, and Little Guido with Tommy Rich, Big Sally Graciano, and Big Guido taking on Danny Dory and Roadkill. I mean, at first it start like a 2, 3, maybe 4 minute match. It gets a little boring, a little bit stale. You got two heel tag teams. You got one like an up and coming heel tag team versus a comedic heel like the FBI. So, and then it gets a little bit more interesting when Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten come in and ask the referee if they make it a three-way dance. And then chaos ensues. You know what? For maybe I think this was what, just a 9 minute match. It was pretty interesting, I guess. It's a kind of an iffy way to start off the show, but hey, it is for what it is. It's just a three-way dance with two heelish tag teams and a serious hardcore tag team. So I'm not too surprised that Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten won the match. Other than that, it is what it is. It's just an if way to open up the show. I just don't know why they just didn't start it off with a three-way dance anyway. Anyway, this match, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5. It's just an and way to open up the show. Then next we get a promo from Terry Funk about um, about Tommy Dreamer on how November to Remember '98, which I will review later on the midpoint of this year. He's mad at Tommy Dreamer for what happened at November to Remember '98 about picking Jake the Snake Roberts over him to be his mystery tag team partner, and also feeling that Tommy Dreamer has betrayed him. So Terry Funk, yes, is a heel at this point, and now has Justin Credible on his side, because later on tonight, Justin Credible and Tommy Dreamer will face each other in a Stairway to Hell match. And I'll talk about that match a little bit later on. So next we get a very, very good match here. Yoshihiro Tajiri against Super Crazy. This match was very good. It's a very good match. I said it before and I say it again. When Tajiri, Super Crazy, Little Guido are all in the match together, you're going to expect a very, very good match out of them. They put their all into it. And to believe it or not, this was the first time Super Crazy and Tajiri had a match here in ECW. And it was a pretty good one. I did like the ending of this match. Super Crazy was like more like the heelish here. And he was like the heel in this little rivalry for a minute. It wasn't too long before the fans was over with him and he became face. Then you had Tajiri lethal with his kicks, as always. The ending saw with Tajiri using a dragon suplex onto Super Crazy with a beautiful bridge. Gets the 1, 2, 3. It was a very good match. It was a good way to start the feud between both of them. And you know what? The more their matches comes down the head, they get better and better every time I see it. And since this was the first match they ever faced off against each other, I'm gonna be I'm gonna give the rating here a 3 out of 5. You always got to start somewhere when you start a rivalry, and you know you got two big time players like those. Next, we get John Cronus from the Eliminators. I guess was supposed to be in action. I don't know against who. And then Judge Jeff Jones come out. making puns about John Cronus. Apparently, a week ago before the pay per view, John Cronus did a 450 splash onto Judge Jeff Jones, and I guess Judge Jeff Jones didn't appreciate it, so he hired somebody to take out John Cronus. And who does he hire? Psycho Sid Vicious himself. Sid Vicious debuts here in ECW. Y'all, I'm not gonna rate this match. It's basically just a squash match. This should have been like a TV segment or a hardcore TV segment, not on a pay-per-view standpoint. But if you ever wanted to ask if I wanted to judge it and rate it, I would give it a 1. A 1 out of 5. It's just a squash match. Psycho Sid basically wipes the floor with John Cronus. So next we get Joey Styles on the camera talking about Sid's debut to ECW, but then out of the blue, he talks about the Dudley Boys, even though Joey Styles didn't want to talk about the Dudleys because they were not supposed to have a match, but instead they do. You got Joe Gertner, Bubba Ray Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, and Devon and Joe Gertner coming out to the ring, challenging anybody to a fight. And who comes out? Well, New Jack for one, and Spike Dudley. And if you watch this match, I believe it's on Daily Motion or YouTube, Spike is dressed up like a gangster. So and to be honest, I kind of like Spike's attire. He's dressed up like New Jack, and it's pretty cool. So we get the Dudley Boys versus New Jack and Spike. You know, a lot of people don't really like New Jack, but this is where ECW gets their hardcoreness from. This was just a hardcore brawl, but it was an entertaining 10-minute hardcore brawl. I did like the little spot that they had with Bubba Ray throwing Spike Dudley to the fans, making it become a mosh pit. Then I also love the part when Spike and New Jack have guitars in their hands, while Bubba Ray and Devon have steel chairs in their hands. It's like like one of those like gunshot things, more like immune, like like in those Western pictures. First, New Jack and Spike make the attack, but the Dudleys duck and leave the ring. Big Dick Dudley comes in. Spike hits him over the head with a guitar. Big Dick is still on his feet. Then New Jack hits him in the head with the guitar, and Big Dick is down. Then there was another spot that I didn't really like, but it was kind of cringeworthy just a little bit. You had New Jack hitting Bubba Ray with I think a cooking sheet on the ramp. And then Devon comes in to help his brother, but then Devon hits Bubba Ray on accident. It was kind of funny, but then New Jack uses the ropes to Irish Rip himself, only to get 3D on the ramp. And then the last minute or so, you see Spike Dudley just acid dropping both Big Dick, Devon, and Bubba Ray, only for him to get 3D'd, and the Dudley Boys win the match. Then after the match, the Dudleys just beat the living hell out of New Jack. New Jack was literally a bloody mess. There was like puddles and puddles of blood all over the mat. Spike was already knocked out as it is. So then the Dudleys get the microphone, and then they make a challenge to the Public Enemy to a fight at ECW's next pay-per-view, which I will gladly review once I get my hands on it, House Party 99. So overall, this match, I'm going to give this and I know y'all are going to be like, why would you give this match this? But it was entertaining, even though it was entertaining 10 minutes. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was entertaining for what it was. Especially the ending was a little bit, was entertaining to the extreme, so to speak. So next, Rob Van Dam defends his ECW television title against Lance Storm. For a 15-minute match, this was pretty entertaining. You have both superstars who can wrestle. Lance Storm is just is technical, and as technical as it gets. I think at this point, I think this was also the point where Dawn Marie was also a little bit of a factor. Other than the fact that even though they just gave Lance Storm the title shot because I guess because Jerry Lynn was injured, I guess. But anyway, for a 15-minute match, this was pretty good. A lot of good spots there too. The ending was very believable. It was very obvious that Van Dam was going to retain the ECW television title. It's a good match. It was a good match, and I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. No, I take that back. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Sorry about that. So next is the Stairway to Hell match between Tommy Dreamer and Justin Incredible. Now, the story here is that Justin Incredible wants to be a main event star, and he's using Tommy Dreamer as a stepping stone. But at November to Remember 98, Tommy Dreamer had Jake the Snake Roberts as his tag team partner to defeat Justin Incredible and Jack Victory. Then an angry Terry Funk comes down and starts beating the crap out of Tommy. Then for the weeks and months ahead down the road, Terry Funk had a new protege, and that was Justin Incredible. And then the challenge was laid down. So for a Stairway to Hell match, if you don't know, it's like a ladder match. I think the first person that climbs the ladder and grabs the Singapore cane has the advantage. The rules are kind of but the match, it doesn't take away from the match though. Tommy Dreamer and Justin Incredible have proven to me that they can have an all-star match. And this was a very good match. I like the spot where the two ladders are in, and then Tommy used a dream cutter onto Justin Incredible with the two ladders. And it was a very good match. The ending shows Terry Funk hitting Tommy Dreamer in the head with a trash can, and then Justin Incredible sets a ladder down to the ring, only to hit the corkscrew tombstone, which is That's Incredible, onto Tommy Dreamer, and gets the 1-2-3. And then you have Terry Funk beating the crap out of Tommy. Other than that, the match was pretty good. It's good. It was good. It was and I can't wait to see what the story goes on further between Tommy Dreamer and Justin Incredible. And I'm gonna give that match it had a good time, a good story behind it, and it got me hyped up for the match. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a good match. So next is our main event. Shane Douglas with Francine defends his ECW World Heavyweight title against Taz. For, I believe in 98, I think it was between maybe WrestlePalooza, no, Living Dangerously 98. Taz has been feuding with the Triple Threat that consumes with Chris Candido, Bam Bam Bigelow, and the World Heavyweight Champion Shane Douglas. If you see my ECW Heatwave 98 review, it only pushes the story further. And at Living Dangerous, not Living Dangerously, at November to Remember 98, I'll get to that one in a bit. But also, here's the story with this match. It was at November to Remember 98. It was a 6-man tag team match, the Triple Threat versus Rob Van Dam, Sabu, and Taz. Taz had the Taz mission locked on Shane Douglas, and it looked like Shane Douglas was going to pass out, but then Sabu climbs the top rope with a chair in his hand, and then uses a leg drop to knock out both Taz and Shane Douglas, only for Sabu to get the win, and Sabu gets named the new #1 contender, and was supposed to be the main event, Shane Douglas versus Sabu for the World Heavyweight title. So Shane Douglas didn't want to defend the belt against Sabu, paid Taz a bunch of money to take out Sabu, in which Taz succeeds. He basically breaks Sabu's neck, and then I think at the third, and then the match that they had, I think it was for the FTW Championship, for Taz to double cross Shane Douglas and let Sabu, pin him, because Sabu's already knocked out cold. And Taz just grabs him and then lays down and then pulls Sabu underneath him to get the 1, 2, 3. And then Taz laid out in the challenge saying that since, like it's at Guilty As Charged, he's going to be the new World Heavyweight Champion. And he just wants Shane Douglas and to prove that he can be a better World Heavyweight Champion than Shane. Other than that, it was a very good match. They fought around to the crowd. Well, actually, there are some flaws. It's a good match, but there are some flaws. Number one, it's a World Heavyweight title match. It shouldn't have been all into the crowd. It could have been more memorable if it was mostly in the ring. Yeah, you can be outside of the ring a little bit, fan act, and have the fans a little bit into it, but they do it a little bit a lot. I think they stay out in the crowd for maybe 5 to 6 minutes, and then they do their moves inside the ring. I mean, they could have stayed in the crowd for maybe just 2 minutes, and that's it. Then come back into the ring and then have more of a memorable match. But it is for what it was. The ending, you had you had Sabu midway to the match. I'm sorry, not the ending. Midway to the match, you had Sabu come back and just beats the hell out of Shane Douglas and Taz. Put both Shane and Taz through tables. Sabu, as injured as he was going through craziness. He was flying out the ring, trying to beat up Taz, trying to hurt Shane Douglas, and then he leaves. Then maybe 6 minutes later into the match, you have Chris Candido coming out, I guess, to save Shane Douglas by attacking Taz, but Sonny and Francine go at it. And then when Chris Candido and Shane Douglas separate the two ladies, Chris Candido attacks Shane Douglas, knocking him out, only for Taz to put in the Taz mission on Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas pass out, and we get a new World Heavyweight Champion in Taz. Other than that, it was a good title match. The story was a little bit not too complicated, but other than that, the match was good. I liked the ending. And it was a good title match. I'm going to give it, even though that they were feuding for all of a year, it could have been much more memorable. I was going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. But since the match, it was a good match. It was memorable, even though Taz wins the championship. It just drops down by a few things. So other than that, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Overall, ECW's Guilty As Charged is a ho-hum pay-per-view. You have the following matches I would give a look to: Yoshihiro Tajiri versus Super Crazy for the first time, Rob Van Dam and Lance Storm. The Stairway to Hell match was pretty good, and the World Heavyweight title match was pretty good. John Cronus and Sid Vicious. This should have been on ECW Hardcore Television, not on a pay-per-view standpoint. The three-way dance, like I said, the beginning match, tag team match, it is what it is. And the Dudley Boys and New Jack was just a hardcore brawl. Other than that, this is just a ho-hum pay-per-view. It's not a bad pay-per-view. No. I would give it 2 to 3 looks. I mean, there are some matches in here that's good, but there are some, like the beginning, like John Cronus and Sid and the three-way dance and the Dudleys. Those should have been the top 3 matches. Then have Yoshihiro and Super Crazy. Then the ECW, the Van Dam and Lance Storm match. Then the Stairway to Hell. And then the title match. But other than that, it is what it is. It was a good pay-per-view. It was a good show to me. And overall, I'm just going to give this a 3 out of 5 for the whole pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view, and I have no flaws with it. I would give it maybe 2 or 3 looks. Also, I would go, if you go to Amazon.com and order this pay-per-view, or go to High Spots if you have a High Spot account and order this pay-per-view. Well, that does it for me for ECW's Guilty as Charged 99. Stay tuned a little bit longer. I'll review ECW's Living Dangerously 99, and oh boy, that pay-per-view. That pay-per-view. And a lot of you ECW fans are probably going to get mad about what I have to say about Living Dangerously pay-per-view. It's not a bad pay-per-view, but there are some matches that were just, well, that's just the next review. I hope I see you guys soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys a little bit later on. Peace.